Pretty slow day. Guess I'll go home now. What's up, guys? Slow day. Slow day. Awesome day, but slow day. So we had a couple of biologists come in today, so that was kind of cool. Not like Maine state biologists, but biologists. Actually, some folks that have some ties with some pretty interesting people. Like literally, they came in together within 15 minutes of each other. One of which I spoke with for a very long time, and he's like a OG reefer, like before like Sanjay, before Julian Sprung. He actually has ties to Julian Sprung from way back when, and he's pretty much spent his entire life just building aquariums all over the world, which is just mind-blowing. He has a home here in Maine, but he's from Massachusetts, and I talked with him for a great while, and he actually was chuckling at the cost of my saltwater, because at his aquarium that he worked at, he basically made synthetic salt, and he had ties to the military, and it's a whole crazy story. And I'll tell a little bit of it right now. So he basically had ties to the military, and the military actually makes their own salt, and the reason that they do that is because they test it for corrosion. Like any devices that they are making, whatever crazy stuff that they're doing, they create sea salt. They necessarily don't want to draw it in from the ocean, depending on where they're located, so they just make it. And basically he took their formula, made it a little bit better for reef tanks, and created sea salt for his aquarium, which he was pretty impressed that eventually he got it down to 8 cents a gallon to make sea salt. And he was chuckling at my price that I had. He's like, I'm not being judgmental, but this is what I did. And then, so talked with him for a very long time. Like, he basically talked a lot about the Berlin method, and he also talked about a couple of the other different methods of reef keeping, which is a conversation that's pretty much lost at this point. It's not something I spend a whole lot of time thinking about anymore, like the Berlin method or any of the other types, which I could hardly enunciate. But great talk with him. He'll be coming back, and we'll definitely get to chat. I wouldn't mind having him on the podcast because he was a pretty interesting fella. Another gentleman from Penn State dropped by. He had family up here in Maine, and I believe he has ties to Sanjay, which Penn State makes sense. And he has an article that is going to be coming out in next month's issue of Coral Magazine. Before, the other gentleman came in, I'm still trying to figure out the whole retail thing, like, not trying to be overbearing, but at the same time be supportive and be available for folks, when they come in. And I was looking at the tanks, and I was kind of picking at stuff and, looking busy, basically. And I was listening to him talking. I'm like, this guy knows his stuff. Like, he just said something that kind of blew my mind. He's talking to his kids while he's in the store, and some of the things that he was talking about, like feather dusters, and I was like, what? I didn't know that. And then it came up pretty quick that he was a marine biologist, and I'm so thankful that there wasn't a lot of questions on my part, because I was just gonna get set up for failure here. But yeah, the gentleman, said a very nice store and left with his kids, and then the other gentleman that came in said my tanks look amazing, and so that made me feel kind of good. It was kind of a neat thing to have happen. A couple of biologists come in and take a look at the store, which I'd imagine that kind of happens on occasion, but first time it's happened here, so I was pretty excited about that. So a couple other things that we were working on today. The water box, so I talked about that in yesterday's video, gave a little tour. Well, I tested my alkalinity. I got out my little Hanner checker here, This one measures parts per million, which I always have to do a little bit of math to figure out the DKH on that. And I was a little bit low when I started, and if I got my phone nearby, it's in the wrong pocket, it's in my right pocket. When I originally tested the alkalinity for the water box, it was at 136 parts per million, which if you do the math on that real quick, that was 7.6 DKH, which is, it's not awful, but it's not good either. That was really the driving force in setting up the e-coral doser, which I was actually going to grab another doser that I had just kind of kicking around, and I figured, you know what, if I'm gonna, might as well try the tools that I have, you know, just kicking around in the back. And all of the heads on the e-coral work just fine, with the exception of one, which is the last one. And so we're gonna put that to use. So we got the alkalinity in ballpark, because I tested it today and it was at 146 parts per million, which if I do the math on that real quick, I got it up to 8.17 over the course of 3 days, because you know, I recorded that yesterday, but I had it up for a couple of days. All right. But yeah, so we got that going, and hopefully, you know, some of these acropora are doing pretty good. I do owe you guys a coral tour, which will probably get that done tomorrow. You know, today I got a couple things to work through, and then I'm going to you know, get out of here, because I got to get to the dogs and make sure that they are. Oh, got a little brittle starfish. Get to the dogs tonight. So, man, that crab, he keeps getting into that toadstool, and that toadstool's been very upset about it. There's that little brittle starfish right there that I was just talking about. Yeah. So we got the alkalinity back in check. I probably should test the calcium, because I don't even know where I was at with that. And I just broke one of the containers for the Hannah, which I feel like I need to get Hannah checkers in the store. That was something I kind of wanted to do, but it's the end of the month. Rent's due. I'm a little strapped right now. Got to get some stuff. Got to get the bills paid, and we can start getting after it again. I did want to get a couch for the store this month, but the one that I want is kind of expensive. And you know, my goal was to get the couch this month, and then next month get the beta or whatever that you call them system in here. But I think I'm gonna hold off on the beta system, and then we'll focus on getting the couch, because I feel like that's going to kind of help with, you know, the significant other that comes in here that isn't really into it. And then, you know, there's been more and more folks coming in with the, if we have a banner month, you know, I'll get both. But you know, where this isn't my facility, I have to pay rent, and the rent's due, and the rent isn't cheap. We got to get that taken care of. So there's always going to be like that little bit of tightening here at the shop at the end of the month. I would like to get to a place where I have a couple months of operating cost saved up, and be in a good spot from that standpoint. But as far as today went, it was pretty slow. I, you know, probably did, I guess when I first started out, what I was hoping to do. You know, things have kind of changed a little bit, and we're fastly approaching the end of the month. And you know, from a goal standpoint, I had my goal starting the month, and I have beaten that goal. I actually have doubled that goal. So pretty happy with the results of this month. And you know, it's not like, even though that I beat that goal, that doesn't mean that, you know, there's a bunch of money flowing through the store, because I basically have executed my plan of reinvesting back into the store. Hopefully we'll get some stuff going, we'll get some sales going on for the remainder of the week. We did order an aquarium today, which was a disaster. did not go well, so I got to kind of refine that process a little bit and figure that out, because a customer came in, wanted a Red Sea, and the original, there was another customer that was selling one, so we were like, oh, that kind of works out, but they ended up selling the tank to the first person that came or was asking about it, inquiring. So they came back to me, wanted to order a tank. They actually placed the order last week, and my distributor just didn't ship it. They were apparently are out of stock of that tank, and there was no email, no message, no attempt to call me and be like, hey, just want to let you know that this is a pretty high cost, high dollar order, and we're not going to be able to get that to you. It's just, I got the invoice last night, and I just had a feeling. I was recording the podcast, which again is late, which when I get out of here, I'm going to run home and get that uploaded, which is a very interesting episode of the podcast. If you want to check that out, there's a link in the description below, which you probably won't get up until about 9 o'clock tonight. I got to fix that too. But this gentleman came in last week, wanted a tank. He ordered one, and we thought everything was good. We're going to get him in here and get him set up. Actually, today should have been delivery day, but last night checked my email when I got the invoice. No tank, no dice. No dice, no explanation, no sorry. Man, I am so thankful that I did not charge him up front originally for that tank, because I would be pretty upset if I was on the other side of the table and I paid somebody and they told me, yep, it's going to be here at this time, especially the type of money that we're talking here, and then it doesn't show up. Yeah, but hopefully we got that figured out, because I'm going through another distributor right now, and we're going to get that shipped directly to his house for him. He's all set with that, so we're going to get that going, and hopefully everything works out for him. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified every time that I have or upload a new episode. Bye.